Good evening. It's 6:30. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let me start out by saying the mission of the City of Craig is providing exceptional service, enhancing quality of life, preserving our cultural values while investing in the future. Katie, would you perform a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Gottschall. Here. Councilman Duran.
Here.
Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Looper.
Here.
Councilwoman Camp. Here. Councilman Tucker.
Here.
Mayor Nichols.
Here. All present. I'd like to call the City Council meeting for October 14th, 2025 to order. Item 1, consent agenda. Approval of the minutes from September 23, 2025 regular council meeting. Approval of the bills through October 9th, 2025 in the amount of $1,610,248.82. Approval of Parks and Recreation Advisory Board nominations for members at-large 2-year term voting member Ashley Kalchak, Jenny Earls, and for alternate member 3-year term non-voting Louise Thomas and June O'Neill. Council.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Gottschall made a motion to approve the consent agenda, second by Councilman Jackson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda approved. Item 2. We have some amendment.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to amend the agenda by removing 10B, staff reports, which would be Public Works Director Danny Paul, and that he is absent today.
Okay, a motion to remove that item?
Second.
No, I
We made a motion?
no, I can't, yeah. So, somebody. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Now, second by,
He made the motion.
I motioned, he said.
okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you. Clarification. So, we'll vote, I have a motion to approve the amended agenda, first by,
Nope.
I think the motion was to remove the staff report by Danny.
okay, I've always messed that up.
Okay.
Okay, a motion to amend the agenda by removing the staff report. I have a motion by Councilman Duran, seconded by Councilman Tucker. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we removed that. Now I need a motion to approve the amended agenda for October 14th.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Camp made a motion to approve the amended agenda, second by Councilman Jackson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? The agenda stands as amended. Item 3, presentations. Economic Development Manager Shannon Scott to announce the 2025 Craig Business Plan Competition winners. Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council and guests. Before we get into the actual announcement of the winners, I'd like to provide a little bit of background information on the competition itself and recognize some of our partners, as well as our competition coordinators. So this is our third annual business plan competition. It's open to new and existing businesses within Moffat County, and we kicked off our competition this year back in July. So the overall goal is to help support entrepreneurs, new business ideas, and the expansion of existing local businesses. The competition coordinators this year were the City of Craig's Economic Development Advisory Committee, or the EDAC, and the Northwest Colorado Small Business Development Center, or the SBDC. So I'd first like to recognize the SBDC. They do provide for our competition no-cost confidential one-on-one business advising from over 300 business experts across the state. They also offer essential training, events, and workshops, as well as specialized business support in areas such as financial management, marketing, business planning, and more. And they also support our businesses at every stage, so whether that's at the startup, helping a business grow, and even planning their exit strategy. So tonight we do have Ashley Dishman here with the SBDC. Ashley, if you'd please stand and be recognized. Ashley is actually our local SBDC coordinator, and she has been essential in this process actually this year and the last few years that we've had the competition. So thank you to her and her staff. I'd also like to recognize the Moffett County Local Marketing District, or the LMD. So we did receive $30,000 in prize funding from the LMD for this year's competition. We also did get $20,000 from the City of Craig this year for a total prize money in the amount of $50,000. So since its inception in 2023, the prize monies from the local marketing district have helped support 3 new startups and the expansion of 1 existing business, creating 25 part-time and 5 full-time positions, with a total capital investment of over $500,000 into the local economy. So the business plan competition could absolutely not be possible without the infusion of these grant dollars from the LMD. So just a little overview of the competition itself. We do have its 2 phases. So phase 1 consists of a business overview and a draft business plan. So for the business overview for phase 1, this is open to essentially any business that's located in Moffett County. And contestants must provide the market problem, the product and service idea, the market served, the customer, revenue generation, a management profile, and the funds required. They also must submit their draft business plan, which includes an executive summary, a business description, an operations plan, a management profile, a market analysis, a sales strategy, and a financial analysis. So in between the phase 1 and the phase 2, we do have a panel of local judges who do provide confidential feedback and make recommendations to the contestants of who they believe should move forward to phase 2. So phase 2 does include the final business plan and the in-person presentation. So I did want to give a shout out to our judges, again, who provide extensive confidential feedback to help the contestants revise and present their final business plan. And they do also take their time. They come up here half a day on a Saturday to be present for the in-person presentations. So this year I'd like to recognize our judges with a plaque. So our first judge is Andrea Camp. She is the owner of Great Divide Cleaning Service with her husband Dale. She also co-owns the West Twin Cinema and is a real estate agent with Country Living Realty. And as you can see, one of our current city council folks. So Andrea, if you'd please come forward.
You would, yeah. She didn't want my picture and my face in that picture. Thank you, Ashley.
Okay, and our second judge is Chris Nichols. So Chris is a former franchisee owner and operator of over 40 years of several McDonald's with locations in Craig, Steamboat Springs, Winter Park, and Granby. He also serves on several committees and boards throughout the county. We're really appreciative of all that he does, and obviously he's our current mayor as well. So Chris, if you'd like to come forward and accept your plaque. And I should mention that Chris and Andrea have actually been judges for the last 3 years of the competition. So probably should have given you guys an award sooner, but again, thank you for everything that you've done. Our third judge is John Mac McMurray. He has owned and operated his own construction business for 14 plus years. He currently works for Northwest Colorado Health and is a member of the EDAC. John Mack is not able to make it this evening, but we will present him with his plaque at our EDAC meeting on Monday. So again, just a little background on last year's competition. We had 6 entries. We had 5 in the startup category and 1 in the existing category. We did, again, receive $30,000 from the LMD for the prize monies. The judges did elect to award a first place winner in the startup category to Paul and Jennifer Peroni with Harmony House in the amount of $15,000, and a first place winner in the existing category to Dan and Katie Johnston with Moffett County Customs, also in the amount of $15,000. So I'm happy to report that both of these businesses are not only still in existence, but thriving, hiring employees, and continuing to make significant capital investments into our community. So for this year's competition, we had 11 entries in which the judges elected to select 7 to move forward to the final round. Unfortunately, we did have 2 pull out of the competition, which left us with 5 finalists, 3 startups, and 2 in the existing category. So before we announce the winners, I'd like to recognize the 5 finalists, all who I believe are in the audience tonight. So as I announce your name, if you could please stand and remain standing to be recognized. So our first finalist is Hadley's Hope Collectibles. So Hadley's Hope is a hybrid entertainment and creativity hub designed to immerse visitors in a world of gaming, imagination, and innovation. They will combine cutting-edge technology with nostalgic collectibles, and their center will offer a unique blend of services including 3D printing, VR and AR gaming, creative workshops, and a vibrant lounge for video and board gaming enthusiasts. Their mission is to foster a community of creators, gamers, and collectors by providing a space that celebrates individuality, creativity, and shared experiences. So Sean, thank you to you and your team. Okay, our second finalist is High Altitude Geothermal, which is a family-operated business founded by Matt and Christine Cooper that aims to provide high-quality geothermal drilling and excavation services in northwest Colorado and surrounding areas to meet the increasing demand for renewable energy in residential and commercial sectors. So Matt, Christine, and Anna, thank you. Our third finalist is Momo's Mountain Chow. So Momo's Mountain Chow was established to help smaller processing facilities utilize their byproducts to provide a healthy, sustainable diet for dogs, which will also increase profitability to local ranchers and keep these byproducts out of incinerators and landfills. They will sell complete raw and dehydrated dog foods and treats using beef regeneratively born, raised, and processed in northwest Colorado. So Catherine, thank you. Our fourth finalist is Peak Mobile RV Services. Peak Mobile RV Services was created to directly address the service gap of accessible and timely RV repair services by bringing certified professional RV repair and maintenance to customers wherever their RV is parked, whether that be at home, in storage, or in remote wilderness campsites. Their mobile workshop model eliminates the need for transport, reduces wait times, and delivers trusted service right to the customer's door. Their expansion plan includes stocking a full inventory of high-demand parts and upgrading their infrastructure to handle more complex repairs. So thanks to Chris and Tracy. Our final finalist is Rocky Mountain Happy Paws. So Rocky Mountain Happy Paws currently offers comprehensive dog services, including nutritional consultation, personalized training, group classes, and short and long-term boarding. They are currently seeking to expand their physical space and range of services by doubling their retail space, expanding training facilities, and purchasing equipment, including specialized accessibility tools for dogs, assisting individuals with disabilities, to allow for more classes and increase specialized training, which will add in-town boarding with more capacity for dogs and also expand services to include grooming and day boarding. So Shelley, thank you. So again, thanks again to all of our finalists. The quality of the business plans were just really exceptional this year and very worthy of recognition. So thank you to you all. So this year, per the competition guidelines, the judging panel had the discretion to award first place winners for each category, first and second place winners for each category, first, second, and third place winners for each category, or no winners for each category. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Chris Jones, who is the committee chairman for the Economic Development Advisory Committee, or the EDAC, and also a board member for the Moffett County Local Marketing District, who will be presenting the checks tonight. So without further ado, I'd like to announce the winners for the 2025 Craig Business Plan Competition. So first place winner in the startup category is Hadley's Hope Collectibles. Congrats, Sean. Yes, it's all yours. And our first place winner in the existing category, also earning $25,000, goes to Rocky Mountain Happy Paws. Thanks, Ashley. Congrats. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Chris. So again, just wanted to say thanks to all of our participants, judges, partners, and competition coordinators. We do plan to kick off the 2026 competition of July of next year. So for those that did not win this year, you are more than welcome to apply for next year. As the competition nears closer to July of next year, we'll have more information on the Discover Craig website. And yeah, we'll follow up with the winners for next steps. So thank you, everybody.
I would just like to say thank you to and congratulations. Well, first of all, thank you to all the applicants. Speaking from the judge's perspective, it was pretty tough going through all the business plans, and you guys really did sharpen them up for the final. So it was quite the task, but we have some good winners. Congratulations. And Shannon, thank you for putting the entire competition together, all the follow through and everything. So you made my job a little easier with everything. So thank you there. Okay, let's move on to city manager's report, item 4.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Wanted to talk first off about the Service Line Warranties of America. We've had quite a few calls. We've had quite a few calls on that particular mailer that went out across the city to homeowners. And so in recent weeks, property owners in Craig received a mailer from Service Line Warranties, and it didn't look like this. It came in an envelope that actually looked like this, and it had the old logo on it. I don't know how many of you received this, but a lot of people thought it was a scam, and it kind of looks that way because of the way it was put together. They were offering optional coverage repairs for private water and sewer service lines. Unfortunately, the mailer included an outdated logo on the envelope, which we haven't used since 2019, which led a number of residents to believe it was a scam. I've had calls from the radio station to discuss it, and we followed up. This arrangement was put together back in 2012. And Service Line Warranties, they operate across the country. I've run into these guys. They're legitimate. And I think they're under new management. It just seems like because all of a sudden since 2016, we haven't seen a mailer since 2016. So this is the first time that under our agreement with them, they can use the city logo for lots of reasons to help initially promote this, but it's also a huge benefit for those people that have service line repairs or replacements, because as you know, some of those replacements are $15,000, $16,000. I think you can attest to that. And I know Derek has worked on a number of those projects, but anyhow, so we've contacted them to correct the logo. We're still looking for the agreement that was put together in 2012. And it should provide proof and verification that they can use the logo for these. And I've seen lots of communities. We had this in Rangeley. We had it in Alliance, Nebraska, where I lived. It's a voluntary program. If somebody chooses to spend $3.60 a month to protect their water service line, And if they have a $10,000 repair, it'll pay up to $8,000 to help recover the cost of that repair. And so it's anyway, it's not a scam, and we hope to get them to follow through with their commitments, which is they should have presented this to us for approval before they submitted it to the public, and we hadn't seen it. Had we have seen it, of course, we'd have identified it right away that there were some things missing here that should have been included. Community Leaders Quarterly Meeting, I had that in my report to you over the weekend, and that's basically the next quarterly meeting since we had the last meeting in August. I think it was August 14th we had that last meeting. And so we're working with Robin Shepard, and we've come up with a scheduled date of November 13. And so we're hoping to put that meeting together for that day. And of course, I think it was pretty successful the last time. At least that's the kind of feedback that we've received to date. I was also going to cover some of Danny's report, just a few highlights here, and maybe the chief can recall this particular item. On September 29th, the Water Department distribution crew assisted first responders with an accident that occurred at First and Rainy Street. A motorist ran into a ditch along the road, which caused the vehicle to partially roll over and pinned the driver inside the vehicle. Dustin Willie, our employees, Matt Lanning, and Damian Jowl. Is that right? Okay. Got the last name correct. Reacted quickly and notified 911 and rushed to the scene of the accident and rolled the vehicle off the driver, who was trapped inside. At least that's how Danny's report is written here. I have no doubt that the quick actions by these gentlemen saved the driver from more significant injuries and possibly death. Their selflessness and quick actions demonstrate a high level of personal integrity and their dedication to serving the citizens of Craig. And he wanted to just point that out. Good job to those gentlemen that participated in that. Chief, do you have anything to add to that?
I don't. First and Rainy is one of those intersections that's city, county, and state. So I'm not familiar with the accident, but I'll definitely check into it.
I think if those facts are correct, we possibly should look at a potential life-saving award.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, in Danny's report, he had the building official and public works director met with Moffett County staff to explore the possibility of partnering to update the 2003 master plan. They met with Neil Binder and Candace Miller, and they had a pretty productive meeting. And so it sounds like they are certainly enthused about partnering in those two opportunities, but they have to. I think they have to take that back to the commissioners yet before that's approved. There's another project that they had talked about. Oh, the Boys and Girls Club sidewalk concept plan was finalized. They also talked with the county at that same meeting to discuss the potential for partnership to complete the project, which we hope to do a good portion of that project in-house if possible. That's one of those projects where we think we can contribute significant construction activity to the project. The Tunatua RV Park continues construction on utilities, but appears to be behind schedule for opening prior to the winter. Staff conducted so far 75 inspections on that site, on that project since they broke ground. Started in April, and worked with engineers to review design revisions to the water and sewer systems. So there's been considerable issues with some of the utility issues, and I think that's set the project back in addition to some other things that are happening there. But I don't want to ask Derek, but I think they're committed to completing the project. But it looks like next spring before they actually open the doors or so to speak?
I would probably anticipate midsummer.
Midsummer, okay. Also,
Engineering, it was engineered incorrectly.
okay. Anyway, it'll be a nice addition to the community, at least from what I can see. It looks like that's something that's badly needed. A roof leak on the Yampa building was investigated and repaired, so we've had a few of those over the years. Environmental testing. So this is the tank we were talking about earlier. No, I'm sorry. This is the Remington Apartments. So they did engineer evaluation at the Remington Apartments on the fire that occurred in May. Building department has been in contact with the owner, who said that their goal is to demolish the building prior to winter. So that's the latest update. The old oil disposal tank that we had out to the volunteer waste oil tank that we had up north, that has been replaced. In the process of replacement, there was some contamination discovered in the soils, and so we had to have a preliminary investigation of the site. They found some petroleum hydrocarbons, some aromatic hydrocarbons, and some volatile organic carbons at the site to depths of about 3.5 feet. But by the time it gets to 3.5 feet, it's like 10% of what the concentration was near the surface. And so we've taken bids. So far, the low bidder, the state provides you 6 approved contractors to do the cleanup on the site. And so we're probably looking at something in the range of $25,000 to $35,000 once we get around to making an award for the cleanup of the site. Of course, I think they'll dig out the contaminated soil and take it to the landfill, basically, but that's usually the cleanup on contaminated soils. Beginning October 27th through November 7th, citizens can drop off leaves for free disposal. Seniors and citizens with disabilities can arrange for a free pickup with solid waste. The drop-off is located at Road and Bridge, of course, up north at 1710 North Avenue. Leaves must be bagged. Staff will be posting advertisements on Facebook and in the newspaper the week of October 13th. And that's this week. We should see those if we haven't seen them already. Boys and Girls Club sidewalk concept plan was finalized, and an initial meeting was held with Moffett County. I think I mentioned that already. Okay. Environmental work is ongoing for the South Distribution Water Line project, which is funded by a congressional directed spending initiative. And of course, right now we have reimbursements that we're pursuing through EPA and EDA. This is a HUD grant for $2.2 million. We also have a $2.5 million grant through HUD for the business park. I'm sure the federal government closure will probably be over by some point soon, but those reimbursements are probably going to get backed up in the process, and depending on how many employees they end up furloughing or jobs that'll be eliminated, it could enhance or slow down the process. We're not sure yet, but we're hoping to get some of those reimbursements out of the way before the end of the year, of course. The project at Mount Mariana Way, if you've noticed, they got the asphalt patch on that project and Circle Drive. So it's essentially complete for this year. And finally, the work on the South Glen water tank. I don't know if you've been by there. It's up there close to 11th Street, which is where Randy Call's at. But that tank was, last time I saw, was nearly completely recoated. So that project should be finished up here if it isn't already. I think you have my report. I covered some items that we'll get to, like the tower lease later on in the action items. So I think that's all I have.
Questions for Peter? Tell Danny we missed him, will you?
Yeah, it will. Thank you.
All right, item 5, council reports. Mr. Looper.
I was out of town for most of the last 3 weeks, so I missed most of my meetings, but I do have some. The Northwest Colorado Development Council annual meeting was held at the airport. Basically, there were presentations. Chris gave a great presentation on the city. Tim Redmond gave a presentation on what the NWCDC has been doing. And then Dylan Roberts was the main speaker. For those of you who don't know, the event was sponsored by a new battery storage unit that's going to be constructed up at the airport site by Jupiter Power. And AT&T donated 185 laptops to the NWDC to be distributed between Rio Blanco route and Moffett County, and also donated $15,000 to the Northwest Colorado Innovation Center. The NWCDC over the last year has been involved in 27 projects that have the possibility of generating over 400 new jobs and $4.5 billion in capital investment. So it's an amazing organization that has done a lot for the 3 counties over the last 2 years and continues to do various things. I had an LMD meeting that Andrea will give an update on. I was at the Yampa Valley Airport Commission meeting. The airport is still looking at breaking ground on their $83 million terminal expansion in April or May. A lot of their issues is that they're maxed out in winter as far as being able to take more flights, more people in and out. Summer, you can still have growth. They were up 13% in the number of seats offered and 18% in the number of passengers flying. But until the terminal is expanded, it's going to be hard to continually grow that airport. And that's just something, that's one of the reasons why we're doing the project. And they're doing an amazing job with it. The amount of jobs that'll come in with it. And with the new airport industrial park up there, and the Hayden Industrial Park, there's just a lot of neat things happening there. So if you haven't been up in a while, please go look. It's just amazing what they're doing. We also will have a mountain rail meeting. Our quarterly meeting will be at the courthouse from 4:30 to 6:30 this Thursday. So any of you who want to attend or can attend, that would be great. And then we had a Northwest Colorado Innovation Center finance meeting. At that meeting, we found out that the bell tower building we've been in negotiations with, CNCC sold that building on Monday. So the good thing about that is it will now go on public rolls again to pay taxes. The bad thing about it is that's 8 months of our work that's, basically we're pivoting. So just so the council's aware, we had a lot of discussions. One of the things we are looking at is doing a brand new metal type building at the industrial park. Basically it'd be 10,000 square feet on 3/4 of an acre. It's something that we feel we can basically pivot and build it however we want instead of trying to remodel, so that we can have industrial and manufacturer training facilities in addition to classes. The thing, and we are having a meeting on Friday to see if the NCIC wants to move forward with this idea or something different. Part of what we're going to be asking, if they do move forward, is that the city be willing to donate the 3/4 of an acre towards that innovation center. What that will do is that'll be our match for our EDA grant, our $2 million EDA grant we're asking for. Which is one of the reasons what was a hold up with our negotiations with the bell tower, is we had to raise $320,000 match. So with this, depending on how council feels and how the NCIC feels, that's just one of the possibilities that we're looking forward, and I just wanted to give council a heads up. And that's it.
Andrea.
Okay, I was on vacation part of the time as well, but I did make it back, and as Shannon mentioned, Chris and I did sit in on the business plan competition. That was that Saturday that the power went out, so we were in the dark for a little bit and had to get a little creative with that, but that worked out great, and congratulations to those winners and all of the applicants. Then I did attend the LMD meeting, and so they received updates from MRH regarding their EMS Training Center grant, which was to do a feasibility study for that building. Good Vibes River Gear gave an update on their grant, and then the Homemade Homegrown, they obviously contribute to that event on an annual basis typically, and so Candy gave an update on that as well. And then they did approve the 2026 strategic plan, which we obviously will be looking at here just a little bit further down on our agenda this evening. And then just kind of gave an update as far as, marketing and the LMD renewal, and just had those conversations about what that looks like and what that will look like if it does not in fact pass. Obviously, they'll have, funds that will have to be distributed before the end of the year. So, just hope that I am seeing, things going out on social media from some of the groups that have received that money over the last 10 years. And I hope that, people in our community are realizing the benefit of those funds and where that money has been spent within our community and the improvements that it's helped make. And again, that event support is really important as well. So hopefully everyone's just doing their research and kind of figuring out where those funds are being spent. And then I was able to attend the River Park sneak peek, and that was great. I just narrowly missed the rainstorm that was moving in, but just great to see that project getting so close to being finalized, and it looks like it's obviously on track to be opening up early next summer. But Melody and the city staff and obviously Anson, they put a lot of work into that project, so it's just great to see that being so close to ready to open, and our community and visitors being able to enjoy that next summer. So that's all I got.
Thank you.
Yep.
Luke?
My meetings were canceled last week, so nothing to report.
Michelle?
I was out of town or sick the majority of the last few weeks. I did attend the Kira meeting last Wednesday. I also went to the River Park sneak peek. Got a few meetings next week, so I should have a little bit more to report at our next meeting.
Thank you. Darren?
Yeah, I have a couple meetings. Last week I attended with the mayor, City of Craig Finance Committee meeting. Staff has put together a new purchase and procurement policy, roughly about 53 pages. They've been working hard on it. So we were able to review that as the committee and discuss some potential changes and revisions. Sections in this policy include local preference policy, conflict of interest, sole source procurement, fleet discussion, just stuff that we come across, throughout the year. So, good meeting. They are working to revise a few things, and I assume we will see another draft shortly. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but then that'll be
We'll vote
adopted
on it.
per resolution, correct?
As part of the code.
As part of the code. So, obviously, Chris and I have reviewed it, and we'll review it again, but then obviously it'll come to council to review and approve. So, thanks to staff for putting that together. I think that's a well-needed document that we've been missing. Parks and Rec Advisory Committee was canceled last week due to lack of quorum, but as we just approved in the consent agenda, we have 2 new members, so hopefully we don't run into that issue moving forward. However, Ryan did provide me an update on a few projects. Within the aquatics department, there has been 14 identified concrete repairs needed on the sidewalls of the wave pool. So that'll be moving forward this year and into next year once weather cooperates to repair the wave pool, so we can get that up and running before next summer. I'm sure council and the audience have driven by Woodbury. Dugouts are nearing completion. Roofs were installed and been painted. The entry fencing for the dugouts will be installed later this month. So that project's moving along very well, and it looks really good. They were thinking that they were gonna have to paint that CMU block because of all the grout mess, and that was part of the original, or the second bid that we received. However, Jennison was able to remove a lot of that grout, so that natural CMU look will stay, which is good. It matches the park, so that's coming along nicely. Ayers and Associates has the contract documents for the Woodbury pickleball project design. So once Parks and Rec does receive those documents back, then work, design and engineering will begin. So hopefully we'll see that within the next few months and have that project shovel ready for next summer. Sounds like Ryan reviewed Whittle the Wood with his staff and the advisory council. Just kind of an end of event summary. So they'll begin moving forward on next year's planning events. Sports complex, The consultants are working on inserting the amenities that we all kind of discussed a few weeks ago on what we would like to see, working that into the design, to look at the overall functionality and the flow of it. Sounds like there will be a few more community meetings, input meetings in the near future. And in his report, it shows that Danny Paul, Public Works Director, and Ryan have both conducted, they've been on Second and Mac and First and Mac for a total of 8 hours, kind of doing their own traffic study over there as well. Obviously, we have a traffic study for that area from Meadows, but this will impact that even more. So they've been working on that and trying to get out in front of that. And then lastly, last week we had a META meeting, Moffett Economic Development Authority meeting. Second meeting for that group, basically, just covered a lot of the startup initiatives for that board. The main conversation from that meeting was approving the budget, which we will later see tonight on the agenda. It's a pretty basic budget for 2026 operating budget. So we'll go over that with Shannon. So if there's any questions, that'd be the time. And that's all I have.
And the meta budget, or the meta authority, is the Tri-State Settlement Funding money?
Correct. Yep.
Right, that's to be put in a perpetual fund, and that is the guiding documents for that organization, so, yeah. A lot of work into that program.
More to come. We're learning stuff every day.
Okay, Jesse.
I attended Kira and also the sneak peek at the River Park. And that's all I got. My meetings are in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you, council, appreciate it. As Randy said, the NWCDC annual meeting I did speak at, gave an update on, the initiatives that we're working on in our community. Peter and I drove to Dinosaur to attend the ex officio board meeting for the local marketing district to see their marketing plan and their 2026 plan and budget, which we have action on, is it later, right? Senior Social Center fundraiser, the wine and art auction, outstanding event. That's their only fundraiser they do a year. A lot of auction items and a good meal, and Mindy can vouch for that with me, so yeah. Attended the Craig Concert Association, first concert of 3, right? And a good group, interesting group. There's more ways to get involved if you'd like to get involved with the Craig Concert Association. There's the president of the board right there, Miss McPherson. So if you'd like to make a donation or buy tickets, she can help you out right there. The Empty Bowl fundraiser for St. Michael's Church, that is a big fundraiser. They do something like 200 meals a week, over 200 meals a week for shut-ins and needy within the community. I think anybody can show up for the meals. This is one of their fundraisers. My granddaughter actually helped paint some of the bowls before they were fired, so we had to get there early to get her coffee mug she painted. We were that much too short. Somebody had it and wouldn't give it up. So, even though I said, I'll trade you. But anyway, great fundraiser, great, good soup. A lot of community restaurants make the chili or the soup for that fundraiser, but a great organization. Shannon covered the business plan presentations. I said, what an outstanding program. Parrot Heads. We distributed 150 flower pots. We spent the morning one day just getting the last few pots that people had taken to other places in their homes and instead of their businesses, and just trying to round up the rest of that. Derek covered the purchasing policy review of the Finance Committee. We took out the alternative fuel vehicle purchasing, right, Peter? So we took out that section, the alternative fuel vehicles, yeah, okay. Like Derek said, 53 pages policy for staff. Brenda and I did Highway 13 trash pickup for Parrot Heads. spent a couple hours out there picking up a good bit of trash. You know, a lot of trash being thrown out the windows around our highways. And if we didn't have groups that sponsored sections of the highway, it would be not so pretty in Colorado. I attended the pre-Sneak Peek River Park tour. I hope the community gets excited about this park. This is something we haven't had. You could always go float the river, you know, put up in Pebble Beach, whatever, float far as you want to go if you want to pull out at Loudy or even further down. But this is for more, and families can sit there and float the 3 diversion structures, get out, walk back up, float them again. You can spend the entire day there once this park opens. So I think it's a huge amenity for the community and for our families to use and in general. Today I was at the county commissioners meeting. I'm not going to go through the entire thing since we have a pretty lengthy meeting, but Finance Department presented their proposed 2026 county budget for adoption. Total county's budget is $147,533,479. Memorial Regional Health, their budget is part of that $147 million. Memorial Regional Health's budget has not been adopted yet, but they're projecting it to be $88,936,202. So the county's budget, real working budget for the services the county provides is $58,597,277. That's about a 4.82% increase over 25. The Memorial Regional Health budget's about, I think, 2.5% increase. Moffett County Commissioners approved the 2 amendments that are on our agenda for later for discussion. So those went. I have several letters of thank you. I'm not going to read them all. Right, one from Brightston Moon, McKenna Nielsen, Kimby Rose, Cody Hume, Ashley Ivers, Danica Miller, Cody Coop. Those were from the Moffett County Fair. The city plussed up their beef purchase prices in a donation, and they were thanking the city and city council for the donation. So with that being said, let's move on to item number 6, public comment. Public comment is time set aside for citizens to address the city council on matters within the jurisdiction of the city. Each speaker is allotted 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may not cede their time to another speaker. The city council can only act on matters that are on the agenda, but may place matters brought to their attention at this meeting on a future agenda for consideration. If you have documents to present to city council, please provide a minimum of 8 copies. With that said, I'll go ahead and open up public comment. Please come up to the microphone, identify yourself, your address, and this is your opportunity to talk to council. With that said, good evening, Ashley.
All right, guys, listen up. No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to take the opportunity to plug the SBDC a little bit more. First, thank you to Shannon. Thank you for you guys for letting us be involved in the business plan competition. It's really fun for us. We love being a part of it. In addition to the business plan, we also were able, in last fiscal year, 2024 to 2025, we were able to help 81 individual clients in our area, so that's really cool for us too. But I just wanted to let everybody here, anybody who's listening, know that we have been doing monthly meetups for entrepreneurs and startups in the community. This month we are going to be doing our 5th one, and we're doing a little bit slightly different. So Monday, this coming Monday, October 20th at 5:30. We're going to be doing a local lending panel hosted at the Yampa building. And so that's going to have, we're going to have lenders from all three of our local banks. And then we're also going to have representatives from the Northwest Loan Fund and NWCDC for NCIC there to talk about different loan processes, what they look for in a candidate, what type of funding is available for startups and existing businesses. So just want to invite everybody out to that. Again, it is October 20th at 5:30 at the Chamber of Commerce. So, well, Yampa building. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next up. Good evening, Ivan.
Buenas noches, damas y señores. Mi nombre es Alvin Arnaud, y yo vivo en C43 Barclay Street. The universe has a wild sense of humor. I had no intentions of being here tonight. I'm flying out tomorrow to spend 2 weeks in Dominican Republic with my family, and I'm insanely short on time. Last time I was here, I said some things that rubbed someone the wrong way. Even though I never mentioned his name, he was bothered enough to have one of Cannon's lackeys send me a cease and desist for my shenanigans. Today, we will test the limits of freedom of speech and liability and then stretch it a bit. Story time, folks. As published in Steamboat Pilot on July 15th, 1999, former employees file suit against McDonald's. 2 former McDonald's employees have filed a complaint claiming they were sexually abused and harassed by their boss and that the officials for the fast food chain did nothing to stop it. Jane Doe 1, who worked at McDonald's in Craig for 17 years, alleges that Christopher Nichols had a habit of touching, fondling, and making sexual remarks to employees since he bought the franchise in 1984. Doe 1 claims Nichols had sex with her against her will and made her fear she would lose her manager's job if she didn't comply. Jane Doe 2, an employee for 4 years, was 16 years old. She claims Nichols began asking her for sex and making lewd remarks to her on the job. Nichols, who also owns McDonald's franchises in Steamboat Springs and Winter Parks, denies the claims and said his lawyer is investigating the accusation. They made some pretty weird accusations, Nichols said. They were totally unfounded. McDonald's officials would not comment on the complaint. In a complaint filed in district court in April, Doe 1 said Nichols repeatedly forced her to have sexual intercourse and oral sex with him. She contacted McDonald's Systems Hamburgers Corp office in Denver in 1988 after she witnessed Nichols making the same sexual advances for comments to other employees, according to her complaint. Doe 1 said Nichols forced her to stay in his basement office while investigators were there and that they left without talking to her. Doe 1 said when she complained again in 1998, McDonald's Corp sent out a human resource supervisor named Oliver Kemp. Doe 1, who admits to lifelong alcohol problem, said Kemp bought her drinks until she was inebriated and then took her back to his motel room and had sex with her. Doe 1, who had 5 McDonald's awards, including Outstanding Manager in 1996, was fired a few days later for poor performance, the complaint says. Doe 2 joined the complaint after Doe 1 was fired. That, folks, is probably how you lose your gravy train. Send whatever posse you want. Mine is ready.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Thank you. All right, public comment. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? All right, we'll close comment period. And before we go to items 7A and 8A, I will announce that I have a potential conflict of interest in those 2 items. I will turn the meeting over to our Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Duran. Will you take over, sir?
All right, thank you, Mayor. Next up on the agenda, we have public hearing, 7A, City Clerk Katie Carmody to present regarding a tavern local liquor license application from Dummy and Crane Cocktail Company, LLC, DBA Dummy and Crane Cocktail Company, LLC, located at 406 Yampa Avenue here in Craig, Colorado. I will go ahead and open the public hearing. And first off, I will introduce staff member Katie Carmody to present the application.
So, the applicant applied for the tavern license on August 1st of 2025. The applicants for this license are Kirsty McPherson and Tanel Gerber, and they are both here in the audience. The address of the premises to be located is 406 Yampa Avenue here in Craig, Colorado. I did want to make council aware that this will be there will be two separate liquor licenses housed within this particular building. However, all of the restrictions that are needed to keep these two liquor licenses separate and to keep alcohol from moving between these two licenses, those all have been met by both of the licensees. All application documents are in order and fees have been paid. The public notice was posted on the site on October 1st, 2025, and a notice of public hearing was published in the newspaper on October 1st of 2025. The sale of liquor in the proposed premises is not a violation of the City of Craig zoning, building, or fire laws or regulations. The City of Craig's designated the neighborhood to be within the city limits, plus a 600-foot radius, and the applicants have satisfactorily presented adequate signatures on the petition to meet the needs of the neighborhood and the desires of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood. The background investigation results from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Investigation produced no results which would cause character of the applicants to be part of this hearing. The proposed location does not appear to be within 500 feet as designed in Regulation 47-326 of the Code of Colorado Regulations Liquor and Tobacco Enforcement Division, 1 CCR 203-2, from any public or private school or the principal campus of any college, university or seminary. One of the applicants, Kirsty McPherson, owns another local liquor license within the City of Craig. Although it is permissible for one individual to own multiple licenses, the current license that she has, I have received an application to do a transfer of ownership of that particular license. So unless the public hearing that's going on right now provides evidence to the contrary, there's no reason to deny this application.
Okay. Thanks, Katie. Would the applicants like to address council? Please introduce yourself and state which one is dummy and which one is crane.
We Rochambeaued for that, actually.
I claimed I'm dummy because then I don't have to talk.
Kirsty McPherson.
Tanil Gerber.
I'm pretty sure you all know that. The question that we do get is, who is Dummy and Crane? And if you guys don't know, because we didn't at first when we started in the history of the area, Dummy and Crane were the very first taxidermists in Northwest Colorado. And so it provides a really good foray into the story of the entire space. So the space is supposed to be bringing people in from outside the area and in the area to tell the stories of Northwest Colorado, Butch Cassidy, Ann Bassett, Josie Bassett, all of those. So it's very much storytelling rooted in our space and what we're aiming to do within the entire distillery building. The cocktail lounge is separate because we didn't think it was fair to ask Wade to figure out how to make a vermouth right away and to try to figure out how to rapidly age a product that takes 4 years. So we are seeking a tavern license to be able to primarily sell from wholesale Bad Alibi Distilleries products. And then we'll also be subsidizing that with things such as vermouth, very minimal beer and wine. We're talking like a can of wine and a can of beer, trying to train the population to enter into the distillery world, which is a little bit different. And the plan right now is to carry this license for 4 years, in which we will reevaluate to determine the business model and if we should license everything under the distillery. So that's kind of that spiel. Anything I missed?
No, I think just excited to get to this point. We've been at this for quite a while now, so like I said, it's exciting to be really close to opening doors and welcoming the public into our vision that we've had for
we've been working on this and some of you have been working alongside of us for several years. So, so we're very, very excited. But with that, any questions from council is welcome.
I don't think I have any.
Sorry, I made like really direct eye contact with you.
There you go.
Come on, Jesse.
If you get this liquor license, then, or do you have a proposed opening date, or are you still waiting on some other pieces, or?
Well, as what typically seems to be the case, we're really waiting on Bad Alibi to be able to get their labels approved, which has to be done through the TTB, which is not currently staffed. So, but after that, the goal and what we're kind of seeking is November. We're about 18 months behind schedule, so the sooner the better.
Yeah, that's, all of our other licensing is in place. This is just definitely the last license that we need to work on. All of our federal, all of our other state licenses are
All of
in
Bad
place.
Alibis,
All
not
of Bad Alibis.
ours.
Well, yes, Bad Alibis. So this is just that last hurdle is getting our labels approved.
Yeah, and then while we're up here, I'll go ahead and make a plug as well for the LMD, and this would really not be possible without the funding that was initially received from the LMD to be able to help with the overall architecture and design and legal, which we needed desperately in order to figure out how to make all these pieces and parts work. So that was a very big thing for the distillery and our spaces as a whole. Any other questions?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Real quick, I also want to give a massive thank you to Katie Carmody, who this was not based off of all of my other stuff that's in transfer and everything currently. This process was not necessarily an easy one, especially since we have so much going on in this building and so much going on with this business. And she took it upon herself to really do a lot of different research and helped guide us in the process. And I want to make sure that it's noted that she did a great job, and we're very thankful for her. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Does council have any questions for Katie? If not, public hearing is open, so I'll go ahead and introduce the floor to the audience for anyone to come up and discuss for or against this public hearing or this liquor license. If not, seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Next up on the agenda, other business, 8A, City Clerk Katie Carmody to present for discussion and approval of a tavern local liquor license application for Dummy and Crane Cocktail Company LLC, DBA Dummy and Crane Cocktail Company LLC, located at 406 Yampa Avenue, Craig, Colorado. Is there anything you'd like to add, Katie?
No, with the completion of the public hearing, that is our last step for this. After the vote tonight, then I will move forward with the work that needs to be done with the state to finish this up.
What's council's pleasure?
Make a motion
I'll
to
make,
approve
go ahead. Second.
the license of the tavern.
All right. I got a motion by Councilman Jackson, seconded by Councilman Looper, to approve the liquor license application. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. For the record, Mayor Chris Nichols did abstain due to conflict of interest and is now back in the chambers.
Sorry, I had to go get a little whiskey from my Diet Coke. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Duran. Item 8B, Economic Development Manager Shannon Scott to present for discussion and approval the award of a request for proposals of the master planner for the industrial park to Ontero Group in the amount of $256,000.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening again, Council. So basically, this is just the approval, as the Mayor stated, for the RFP that we submitted back in April to solicit a master developer for master planning services for the business and industrial park. Again, went a little unconventional in the method of how we approach this. We did have a workshop with Council to go over all of the proposals. We did have, I believe, 5 respondents. We narrowed that down to 3, where we conducted interviews with a subcommittee, and then ultimately selected the Antero Group. Again, in front of you or in your packet, you should have the contract as well as a professional services agreement. We have had Antero Group come out here once and do a site visit as well as meet with relevant staff to kind of go over the pre-plan for that. They will actually be back in Craig this Thursday to kind of go over more of those details. We do have Ryan Peterson on the call. He is the main contact and the project manager for the Antero Group. So, Ryan, I'll leave it open if you have anything you want to mention about the process or y'all site visit this Thursday, or if the council has any questions for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Shannon. I just want to say thank you for the ability to travel to Craig, learn more about the site, learn more about the city. Appreciate council's consideration of our proposal and hopefully selection tonight as well. Happy to answer any questions about the company or our proposal as well.
Well, you came highly recommended by our work group, so thank you. And anxious probably to get started here, so. With that said, council.
Definitely, we're ready to hit the ground running for sure.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the award of request for proposals of the master planner for the industrial park to Antero Group in the amount of $256,000.
Second.
Got a motion to award the master planner for industrial park to Antero Group for $250,000 by Councilwoman Gottrell, seconded by Councilman Jackson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. We look forward to working with you.
Thanks,
Item
Ryan.
8C, Resolution Number 31, 2025, a resolution of the City of Craig approving the 2026 strategic plan and budget from the Moffett County Local Marketing District and its operating plan for 2026.
Mr. Mayor, as a board member of LMD, I have a conflict and will step out.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Looper. He is excused from the meeting. Peter, are you presenting this, or?
Actually, we hadn't talked about it, but each year, the various members of each governing body come together to review and approve the strategic plan and the budget for the LMD. And this year, as Chris mentioned earlier, we met in Dinosaur to review that plan. And I think each of the entities have found it acceptable. And so it's being recommended for approval tonight for the 2026 budget for LMD.
Council?
Motion to approve resolution number 31, 2025.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Tucker made a motion to approve resolution number 31, 2025, seconded by Councilman Jackson. Discussion?
I was just curious, since I wasn't able to travel to Dinosaur, was there any recommendations or anything that any of the members of these groups, the city, town of Dinosaur County, wanted to see different or anything else? Any recommendations to LMD or anything that transpired from that meeting?
Well, there were some suggestions from the town of Dinosaur to be included a little more on the automatic funding, but the LMD board stood by their plan. Justin Kalchak, being the chair, presented the plan. I think other than that, was any further discussion? That was pretty much it.
No, I think the major concerns came from Dinosaur
Yeah.
in terms of the plan.
So, and then this is obviously contingent on ballot initiative, 6A? Being approved by the voters. If not, then the LMD will dissolve all its assets, will still be in operation until all its assets are disposed or dispersed. So I can say I fully support the LMD, and when it was approved 10 years ago, what the impact has meant to our community different organizations and different groups, economic development funds, so with that said, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 31 is approved. Item D, City Clerk Katie Carmody to present for discussion and approval, introduction and first reading, Ordinance 1169, 2025, an ordinance of the City of Craig, Colorado, amending local liquor licensing fees to reflect the Colorado Department of Revenue Liquor Enforcement Division fee schedule and declaring an effective date retroactive to the date permitted by state law. Whew. That was a long one, Katie. Can you give us a little background here?
Absolutely. So in doing a lot of research for some of the liquor licensing work that I've been doing over the last few months, I looked at our municipal code, and we had a fee schedule in our municipal code. That fee schedule wasn't updated and didn't actually include several different liquor licensing options that are available at this time. So in looking at that, we thought the best way to do this, because the state does update what locals can charge kind of routinely, and so it seemed the best way to do that in order to ensure that our code continues to stay up to date, that we make it so that we are looking at the Department of Revenue's fee structure when that application comes in, whether that application is for a renewal, for a transfer of ownership, or for a new license, or anything else. We kind of refer back to that. I did include in this ordinance, as well as the next one we'll talk to, state statute has also changed, the title has moved, and so we did some updates and some cleanup with that.
Questions for Katie? Okay, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the introduction and first reading of ordinance number 1169, 2025.
Second.
Councilman Duran made a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 1169, seconded by Councilwoman Gotzel. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes first reading. Item D, City Clerk Katie Carmody to present for discussion and approval, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 1170, 2025, an ordinance of the City of Craig, Colorado, amending Section 5.1, alcohol beverages to reference the appropriate state statutes and to include transfer of ownership hearing procedures. Katie, you're up again.
So again, just like I mentioned, the state statutes have actually moved the title, so we did some cleanup in our code. This ordinance will do some cleanup in the code to refer to the appropriate sections of state statutes. Also, our code did not include any procedures for a transfer of ownership. And so with that, we discussed including that because transfers of ownerships of liquor licenses happen. And it'd be, the recommendation is that we address that in our code. As part of those hearing procedures, those hearings would be done with an administrative hearing officer for those transfers. And specifically, we would be looking at the character of the individuals, the zoning, the planning, all of those things that we kind of consider on a new license. But we will be looking at the needs of the neighborhood, including the location to schools based upon when the original license was first approved. So we all know that things move, different businesses move around, but in looking at these transfers of ownership, we're going to go back to when that was originally approved, when we kind of look at some of that stuff.
Questions from Katie? I just say I like it when we clean up our codes, so. Okay, entertain a motion on item 8E.
I move to approve introduction and first reading ordinance number 1170, 2025.
Second.
Councilman Jackson made a motion to approve first reading ordinance 1170, 2025, seconded by Councilman Looper. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. First reading, 1170. Item F, Economic Development Manager Shannon Scott to present for discussion approval of a resolution number 32, 2025, a resolution of the City of Craig approving the First Amendment to the Establishment Agreement creating the Moffett County Development Authority, META. Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. So Councilman Duran touched on this a little bit. We have had our first two meta meetings, just kind of again doing some of the preliminary organization and formation work. As part of that preliminary work, we do need to get a budget approved. So as we were working to get that budget approved and get that prepared, we noticed that in the establishment agreement, there was a process that we were not necessarily aware of as far as getting that budget prepped and approved. So essentially, that process included that each of the party designate a rep to serve on a joint intergovernmental budget committee that would help prepare and present that budget. And then they would present that to the Meta Authority that would then be presented to the city and the county. So what we're asking for tonight, and you'll see item 8H, will be the actual budget approval itself. But we are asking to waive a part of that establishment agreement where essentially we are nixing the budget committee. We have the authority that's prepared the budget itself. So we have to present that to both city council and the county commissioners. Again, we're just kind of waiving that step. So in your packet, you should have the First Amendment to the establishment agreement that waives that part of it. It does have the red line as well. It's kind of confusing, but it shows what was taken out and added in, as well as the resolution itself to essentially waive that part of it. I do believe, as the mayor stated, that the county did approve this policy waiver this morning. So again, we're asking council to approve that so we can essentially have the Meta Authority prepare the budget and then present it to you guys for approval as an item 8H. Councilman Duran, did I miss anything with that? No. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I do apologize, but since I am a board member of META, I should abstain from 8F and 8G.
Okay. Let it be known that Councilman Duran has abstained from item 8F and 8H. Mine's off a little bit.
8G.
8G.
8G, okay. Alrighty. Shannon, so it doesn't really take away the final approval of anything from the city and the council. This is just simplification of the preparation process.
Exactly. We're basically just eliminating that extra step of having another budget committee to prepare the budget.
3 from the county, 3 from the city.
Right.
And to sit down with the authority treasurer, right?
Exactly.
And create a draft budget. Okay, so that's all it does. Questions? Entertain a motion, council.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 32, 2025.
Second?
Councilman Jackson made a motion to approve resolution number 32, 2025, seconded by Councilwoman Camp. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's approved. Item G, Economic Development Manager Shannon Scott to present for discussion and approval the 2026 Meta Draft Budget. Ms. Scott, you're up again.
Thank you, and my apologies. I did misspeak on that last item number. I said item H instead of G. So this is the actual budget that we were discussing in the previous item. Again, this budget was approved this morning by the commissioners as well. It's very preliminary, just for next year. We'll have some administrative costs and things like that. You do see our first payment coming in. I believe it's in January of 2026, at $5.5 million. And again, just some projections for the next few years after that. But this is something that we have to file every year and then send to the state as well. So happy to answer any questions on that.
Questions, council? Anybody? See, I did not take in commissions when I was looking at this budget, so I'm going, aha, when I saw that line item, so. And I think these are pretty conservative numbers at 4%. So hopefully, if we don't do better than that, we should be looking for a new financial advisor, so. Unless we have a down year in general, but, so. All right, council, motion on 8G.
Make a motion to approve the 2026 meta draft budget.
Second.
I got a motion to approve the, approval for the 2026 meta draft budget by Councilwoman Gottrell, seconded by Councilman Tucker. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meta has a budget. Approved. Item H, City Manager Peter Brixis to present for discussion and approval an option agreement authorizing a cell tower lease buyout and a perpetual easement agreement. Before we start that, Councilman Duran has re-entered the meeting. Peter, you're up.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So this is an agreement that we entered into, a lease agreement back in 2005. We're looking tonight to approve resolution number 33, which would authorize us to sign the option agreement, the perpetual lease agreement, and the unanimous written consent are the three agreements they're looking for. This process is going to take a little while. It's going to take 60 to 90 days after we approve it. What we're looking to do here is take a lease that originated in 2005 with Nextel, and it's that tower currently sits on property owned by the city up by the tank on the sand rocks up there. And each 5 years, the lease goes through an escalator process. And in my report over the weekend, you can see with a 15% escalator where the current lease payments are each month. What they would like to do, there's 10 years remaining on this lease agreement. They'd like to buy out the remainder of the lease agreement, which I estimate to be about $180,000 by 2035. They would like to then change the structure of the lease to a perpetual perpetual easement on the 1,650 square feet that they currently lease for the tower. That process, they need to go through a survey. They want to establish a clear title commitment to make sure that we have everything we say we have in terms of who owns the property, that sort of thing. And they think that'll take about 60 days for that to occur. They have offered us $330,000 to buy out the lease. Now that's, if we were to continue the lease agreement, that would take us well into the second 10 years after 2035. By the time we utilize that $330,000, but $330,000 up front, invested and compounding over that same 15 to 20 year period turns into $550,000 to $600,000. And so looking at this agreement, it looks like it's very beneficial. We continue to retain ownership of the property, of course. It's a lease, and it's not a fee simple purchase. It's a lease, and we would have access to the site in case of an emergency. They would continue to have access easements to get them to the site. And, of course, they'd fence off that property. It's already fenced off, but they would, they're going to be probably making some changes over the, in terms, it's going to be continued to, the continual use for the property is to maintain antennas, utility connections, and access roads for communications. So the change of use, there's no difference in what they'll be doing in terms of the technology and what it's attempting to do. I'm sure there'll be refreshed technology from time to time at that site. So asking council tonight to approve the execution of Resolution 33, which is the option, which will include the option agreement and later on the perpetual easement and the unanimous consent, where all council members will have to sign. Any questions, concerns about the lease agreement? This is, by the way, this has been reviewed by both Heather and Gary. We've had a chance to provide red lines. I apologize that you're looking at a red line version here with the option agreement and the perpetual lease, but this transaction, we finally got it to the point of clarification on what those changes would have to look like by late Friday afternoon and Monday morning by the time we completed the project. So what you see with the red lines is exactly what the lease agreement will say once we accept those red lines.
Questions for Peter? Well, it sounds on the outside, good investment for the city. The word perpetual bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When at some point, either due to technology changes or whatever, that site becomes obsolete for SBA Monarch Towers. It never reverts, that easement never goes away.
Not unless, I think there's a severability clause in here, but I don't think I don't think it goes away unless they want to terminate that lease or that easement agreement.
Okay. If there is a termination clause, I've skimmed over it and I missed it, so,
I think it's a severance clause, not necessarily termination.
okay. Severance clause, okay.
I mean, it's, in perpetuity. I mean, that's the big reason, I think the starting number, I wasn't involved in the starting number, what was offered initially.
270,000.
They accepted our counter of 330, but
We did some research and it was determined that the top end of what we could ask in general, based on what other tower leases have acquired, it looked like 330,000 was a number that we should be able to obtain. Also, Gary was just telling me that, and it says that here too, but that the usage for that site is strictly for the communications equipment. If they choose to take everything off the site and there's nothing there, I think there's some question as to whether we can, at that point, terminate that easement agreement. But
All right, cool. That was my question. All right, council, so we are going to adopt your resolution 33.
and like to sign the option agreement tonight. The perpetual easement is going to take us, they're going to have to do a survey, complete a title commitment over the next 60 days, and then we'll get that executed.
Okay. Council?
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 33, authorizing the cell tower lease purchase and buyout with perpetual easement agreement.
Second.
Councilman Looper made a motion to adopt approve resolution number 33, 2025, seconded by Councilwoman Camp. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, council stick around to sign, I guess. All righty, next item, item 9, council discussion and requests for future agenda items. Hearing none, let's move on to staff reports. Item 10, Chief Cochran to present the police update for September 2025. Hi, Chief.
Hello, thank you, Mayor and Council. Going to try to be brief. You've got my report. A couple of good things I want to go over prior to getting into the report is one of them Saturday night. I was asked to attend an event in Meeker, the Oktoberfest, where they were also going to do an appreciation for the first responders and other people involved with the Elk and Lee fires. Was asked to attend to represent the city, and boy, what a blast. Really wish that some of you could have been there, but they presented the city with a nice plaque, which I have here on the desk if you'd like to see it. Got to meet some real good folks down there. Great meal. They had a pig roast, a lot of fixins. So it was a very nice event. Met some very nice people down there. Second thing is we have, for several years in the police department, been looking at some technology that many of us were familiar with and just trying to find a way to come up with the funds to get it. And this is called a Rapid ID. For those of you that are not familiar, Rapid IDs are a technology that use cell service and fingerprints to give us a positive identification on somebody that we might be dealing with. Recently, a couple of months ago, we had an opportunity to apply for a grant through the state for some Rapid ID units. So we applied for that grant, and on the 9th, this past Thursday, we received a letter that we had not only been awarded that grant, but we were awarded 4 of the mobile ID devices. So these are amazing for us in this area. Many of the people that we deal with on a daily basis, be it a traffic stop or a call for service, don't have ID. So unless we know those people, we don't have any way to know who we're dealing with. So these devices are great in that way. The grant really depends on which model we get, but the grant is with the devices usually run between $2,000 and $2,800 a device. So we're looking at $10,000 to $12,000 in grants. But it was money that we weren't going to have to spend for something like that. We have used these devices a couple of times because the State Patrol has one that is in the area. I would say in the area, it's in this northwest Colorado, so it's not always available for us. So we're looking forward to getting those items in and getting them out to work. I think they'll do us some real good here. Any questions on those 2 items? Next is the monthly report. I've tried to go through it and take a look at some of the numbers. I really don't see anything that's hugely changed in our number count for the calls. I've tried to include some different type reports that gives you breakdowns on the days of the week, the times of the day. We did look into the fact, because our call volume has gone down over the past several years, year by year. And I think what we've come to realize is where our call volume, the actual calls for service that are coming in, have decreased, our self-initiated activity has increased, which is something we talked about almost 5 years ago, that we wanted to see crime going down because we were being more proactive. And I think that's what we're finally getting to see, is the more that we have people out there, the more we're able to interact with things like traffic. If you'll remember, many of you 5 years ago, we couldn't work traffic. We just had to respond when we got the calls. But that has, the ability to do those things have increased, so our call volume is slowly dropping a little bit. Any questions on any of that? Any of the front page numbers that we always have? If you go through the next several sheets, you'll find a citation report. This is just kind of a breakdown of the types of citations that we're writing each month. I included this last month as well to kind of give you an idea of what kind of calls or summonses and citations were being issued. You get to see some of that when it comes into to the courts, through the courts here, but some of these also wind up in county court, so it kind of gives you a little bit of what we're charging folks with when we have interactions and have to issue a citation. Officer activity summary. This is where we get into the CSOs. So I will tell you that we are now happy to report that we have 3 CSOs that are all code enforcement certified. Our last 2 had to attend a conference a couple of weeks ago where they did some training. This training has been accumulating over the past little bit, and then took their certification exam. So they both passed those. But with the code enforcement activity reports, we kind of break down the type calls they've had. These you've been seeing for a couple of months now. And it gives you an idea of their responses, which officers are doing what, and then the overall time that they're spending on one of those calls. Any questions on those? All right. You also get in the back the reports that we had been turning in for a while with code enforcement, which is open versus closed cases. We give you the trends there. You get to see the different officers and what they have worked on individually. And please keep in mind that we use a code enforcement software, which is GoGov. We went to a couple of years ago, but some of these these cases that turn criminal, like we've seen with a particular residence on Colorado Street, those get entered in a different place, so you're not going to see it on the code enforcement report. That has to go to the criminal side. Any questions that I can answer on any of our volume for the last month? Thank you.
I like your breakdown on your change in reports. Gives us a lot of information.
Thank you.
Number 11, executive session. Move to go into executive session pursuant CRS 24-6-402, Section 4, subsection B, to receive legal advice concerning the settlement agreement on case 1:24-CV-1664-STV. It's October, well, I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to move into executive session.
Second.
Councilman Duran made a motion to move into executive session, seconded by Councilman Looper. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're in the executive session. We'll clear the room. The time is now 8:30 PM, and I have turned the recorder back on because the privileged attorney-client communication is finished. If any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go back into executive discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask you to state your concerns for the record.
For the record, this is City Attorney Heather Cannon. I attest that no decisions or actions were taken during this executive session.
I will now take a motion to approve the settlement agreement on case 1:24-CV-1664-STV.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Gotchel made a motion to approve the settlement agreement, seconded by Councilwoman Camp. Discussion, please. Let me just start out by saying I support our officers. I feel we are not liable in this instance, but on advice received from council, this is the best alternatives. Our insurance company has stated a number. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. They like to cut their losses, in my opinion. With that said, I'd like to hear from the rest of the council.
I also support the officers, our staff, everybody. Then I'm in agreement with the settlement, just for the pure fact of it's the best decision for everybody.
I agree. I'm also in support of the officers, and right or wrong, it's what we need to do to get this case settled and move on.
I think it's important to protect our officers. Again, not here to say what we're doing is right or wrong or settling is the best or the worst answer, but I think in this case, it's what we need to do to protect our officers and move on.
This has been a lengthy and ongoing process, so I appreciate everyone involved in helping us get to the point that we are at. It is a tough situation, obviously, for the city, for council, and for everyone involved. We do support the officers, and with that being said, I support this.
Any further discussion?
I'm not happy with the settlement, but I do appreciate the recommendation of the settlement. But obviously, we support you.
Yeah, and I agree with Luke, just based on the, the advice that we received from council and the recommendation of CIRSA, and obviously in support of our officers and knowing that this is in the best interest of the city, I agree to support the decision.
Further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Thank you. Council, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Councilman Duran made a motion to adjourn, second by Councilman Looper. All in favor?
Aye.